join the band. Of course, he was delighted.
The invitation to join the Yardbirds came after I finished a sweaty set at the 100 Club. And that time we were playing Eel Pie Island and all that, and getting quite a good reputation. I jumped off stage and this arm came around me. There was a bearded gentleman by the name of Hamish Grimes, and he said, "Can I swear?" He said, "You're going to be in a top fucking band this week." And I went, "Oh, great. Who are you? You know, like, this is it. You can't get much better than this." I was really hurt about that he didn't make any reference to the fact that we just stormed the place, you know. But he thought, well, everybody would want to join the Yardbirds, you know, without even batting an eyelid. And he was right, because I joined.
I think he is the most unique guitar player, and the most, probably the most devoted. I mean, from what I know of Jeff, you know, he's either fixing his cars or playing the guitar. There's no in-between for him. And he actually is never changed. And I mean, unlike myself, who's been kind of wandering around a lot of the time, dabbling in this and that and being led astray, Jeff has been very consistent, you know.
I remember Keith Relf saying, let me hear you play the blues at the audition. I went, oh, I played about 3 or 4 Matt Murphy lines, and he said, great, that'll do. I didn't outline much at that stage. It was like, get him in, let him learn the songs. Eric used to do this, Eric used to do that, and I thought, yeah, got to do that for the time being, because those were the crowd-pleasing things, the build-ups, the power chords. You know, so it didn't make sense to try and argue against that. But the best was round the corner, you know. I heard what a record, Booker T and the MG's Green Onions, and I just went straight out of my head when I heard that. That's what I want to play, that kind of stuff. Because it was like a stepping stone, like every day, you know, in those days it was like, oh, that's out, you can't do that anymore, can't do Chuck Berry stuff. And I got lessons from that, you know, from Booker T's mob, and then the Stax thing started, Motown, all that real music, you know, real good pop music. That had some substance to it, and I dialed into that, and that's where I picked up all the chord things that I subsequently used on a lot of my stuff. Influenced by that, by the black Motown and Stax people. Just this kind of block sound they used to get, like Little Richard. It has never been achieved since. You couldn't get it if you tried. You don't get people with voices like Little Richard for a start, but it's not just that, it's the locked-up sound they had in the band. Gave it that sound. Same with Jerry Lee and Vincent and all the rest of them.
The incredible thing about Jeff is that his roots also were the blues and rock and roll, but also he was much wider in his musical tastes. And he also had a mind and a talent that wanted to go much, you know, further than just playing rock and roll or blues licks. And it was perfect for us because we were about to enter a phase of all sorts of experimentation. I mean, in retrospect, we obviously put Jeff through an awful lot of pressure. You know, we used to work on material, then bring Jeff in and explain to him, like, for instance, the sitar sound that he created for Heart Full of Soul. Giorgio had originally booked an Indian sitar player, I think from the local Indian restaurant, and a tabla player, and we tried to create this sound at the front end of Heart Full of Soul. But of course, it just sounded very thin and weedy, and there was no way. I mean, it sounded like a very bad cut. So we said to Jeff, what can you do? And Jeff came in and created, this incredible sound.
There were the sort of threads of songs coming in from different writers. Jim and Paul used to write stuff, and I just chimed in with my ideas of riffs and just stuff like that. And
it's difficult with songwriting to know if you try and apportion it exactly. It is difficult. And very often it's just a combined effort. Although in this case, Still I'm Sad was definitely just Jim and me. I mean, we definitely turned up with it. But of course, the rest of them playing it and contributed something to it.
Fox people bring down the biggest amps that had ever been built. I think with 4 of them, big chrome stands, and it was like ridiculous. I mean, people were talking about volume that was coming out of this little AC-30, and they did kick it out. But these things looked like a factory, like a block of flats on stage. And but they didn't sound very good. They must have thrown the sound, but on stage I felt more happy with the smaller amps. But it was the first feeling I ever got of, this is big stuff. We're now in the big league, and you're going to get it in a big way. And I think we all felt that, and we rose to the occasion. Everybody played amazingly well. We got total hysteria, people screaming and going berserk. And I wouldn't mind seeing that film. Not to listen to the music so much, but just, just get the vibe of it. I mean, the sound was probably appalling, but we were having a ball up there.
Of course, going to the States was a huge thing for us because at the time people didn't go to America. We just saw America on TV and American films, and going there at the time was so exciting for us, especially going to LA and California. In fact, the first time we went there, we didn't have a work permit. Instead of playing the gigs that we had scheduled to play, I think we only did one, and then we got in trouble with the Musicians Union and ended up just playing parties for publicity's sake. But then we got into doing quite regular tours, and we were adopted by the American audience who loved our music. In fact, we became bigger in the States than in England.
Yeah, I opened my eyes. I mean, I lived in a shithole, in Clapham somewhere. It's really awful. I knew I'd get out of it, but it's just one of those stepping stones you have to go through. And when I saw how they lived out there, I mean, there were blonde girls driving around in expensive sports cars and, 18, 17 years old. Stuff that you would never get in a million years over here. And they had it. It was the land of milk and honey out there. And smog. It was great.